Hey everybody, welcome back again. I'm hoping this video will be a little bit more organized and non-chaotic as the previous video that I uploaded. You know, I don't have to move around as much, so it makes it a lot easier. But today I'm doing a review on The Pool Confidence by Tanner Pruess, and a pool player's guide to confidence plus consistency. So I bought this a little bit ago. He said he likes people to do reviews and stuff like that. So on his Facebook page, I don't know about video reviews, but he just said like say something about it maybe. But I'll probably post something on Facebook about what I think about it. Now, this is coming from a person that's gone to. Let me see. I got lessons by one guy who's pretty prominent in my area. He's Hall of Fame Vegas. But it's like a couple hour lesson, and then I got lessons from this guy in Oklahoma called Greg Ho. The Red Door Den Training Center is what he calls it. And I've had lessons from Larry Nicholson from Texas. So I've had instruction from previous people about fundamentals or key aspects of the game, and then a lot of YouTube research and stuff. There's still a lot of stuff that I don't know. I started playing a couple years ago. I'm dedicated to getting good at this game. Like, I don't play this game just to go out with my buddies and drink. I'm well invested into it so far. But so I try to take every single aspect or any kind of learning material that I possibly can get my hands on that that I can use to improve my game to some degree. If there's things that I don't know that aren't anywhere else available, I try to find it, and I try to find streamlined ways of like the most efficient ways of training to get good as fast as possible, and that's kind of like my goal. So I just try to look at different things. So this is going to be from somebody like my perspective. Intermediate players, it's kind of like where I'm at, mid intermediate, maybe upper, almost advanced. Right now I'm kind of teetering. I keep my I kind of punch a little bit above my weight with these higher level people sometimes. So I try at least give myself some kind of credit. It's like I'm not gonna, I'm trying my best is all I can say. I try to play my best game. So what I like about this is it gives you this little target map. This is really nice quality too, by the way. I'll say that. Like it's thick. I just try to just take care of it. Don't bend it or crease it, because this kind of stuff, once you bend it and crease it, kind of like the shark skin stuff. If you once you bend it or crease it, it'll start to you ain't gonna be able to use it. So I'm just I always try to keep it inside of the book like this, just so it doesn't get bent up. But I like something like this. It's way better than like using, let's say, a napkin, which is some sorry, I can't speak, old school trick they used to use for like target practice on a pool table. Is use putting a napkin down from like the bar or whatever and try to get the ball to land on it, or maybe a playing card or something like that. The book's kind of worn because I used it. I've read this entire book, so I haven't skimmed through it. I'm not going to show you everything in here because I'm out of respect. I'm not going to be a hole and sit here. Oh, I'm here. Here's every single page inside of here, and then nobody has to buy. Nobody's going to support him and buy the book because he seems like a hardworking instructor, and it took a lot of time and effort to put this together and everything. So it's like I'm not gonna sit there and show everything, but there'll be a few things I'll kind of point out in here, some key aspects that I'll point out. So here I'm gonna take it off screen here, so I'm gonna look at some stuff and kind of talk. But he goes kind of an overview of like maybe the pre-shot routine, the routines and stuff. About how to first get your pre-shot routine together and things, and he'll kind of give you some advice on that. I think he gives you some mechanics advice at the beginning on how you should stroke or perform the stroke. But granted, a lot of that stuff is like the basic stuff, you know, like you can go to any instructor and they'll tell you the same thing. You know, I've gone to 3 different instructors. When it comes to fundamentals, they usually bring up the same key aspects of, you know, mechanics. Stay on a shot, have a pause, you know, don't have your bridge too far away, blah 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 blah. A lot of those basic things, you know, have your elbow in line with the front of your head, you know, have your right foot or whatever your dominant foot on the shot line, all those things. That's just standard stuff. So it's like you're not getting any secrets from that. You know, everybody's gonna know that. You know, unless you're a complete beginner and you have no idea what fundamentals are. If you are a complete beginner and you have zero fundamentals, I highly recommend this book. This would be great for somebody just starting out. It just goes basic stuff, basic ideas, just the fundamentals and main things you just need to focus on when you first start playing, and that's really great. Now, there's some things I got out of it that kind of helped me. There's some things in here that was just kind of like redundant information I already knew. So we'll go over all those basics. He's got some cue ball control. Oh, sorry, I'm showing too much. He's got some cue ball control drills in here. He's got some stuff in here that had, you know, different shots and stuff that come up quite frequently, and he'll kind of point that out. And yeah, there's different. He'll have the same shot set up, but he'll have you land the cue ball in multiple different areas on the table using the mat. So he has like a photo. Here's an example. It's just something simple. So he'll just have this on here, and then he'll change the mat. Some of the shots have different areas on the table where it'll show the mat, so it'll show different routes that you can take while performing the shot to practice your speed control and things like that. So we'll go through here again, and I'll go talk to you overview of some other stuff that he brings up. If I can. Okay, yeah, he's got drills in here too. He's got a drills section, so if you need any drills. And, you know, they're very good basic drills for anybody that's just starting out, or they're, you know, this is great for me too, because sometimes I don't know what to practice. And I'll practice fundamental things, but sometimes I feel like, man, there's got to be something out there that's going to, like, really just kind of help with, like, the core base part of my game, especially when it comes to cue ball control. You know, there's some drills that I got in here that, I haven't seen that drill before, you know, but there's a lot of drills in here that I have seen, you know. But then there are a lot of drills in here that I've seen that I never thought about doing because I didn't think maybe that's a drill I should be doing, because sometimes you don't know what to do. There's so much information out there. You don't know what to do or what's more effective, you know. But to get advice from an instructor and, you know, a literature format or a book is kind of helpful, because then it kind of streamlines my focus, you know. It streamlines like what I need to practice and work on, you know. So it's like something I can say to myself, if I just work on that one thing, that's going to overall improve my game long term. And that's kind of like my idea on it. One thing I'll show you, this is a common drill. I actually never thought about this particular drill, but I know this as, like, I think of the Nick Werner drill, but he has it as the Mississippi 9-ball drill, and he does outline that it has different names. But apparently Shane Van Boning recommended him to do this. He said that, you know, basically, I guess I'll just read you. If you want to be good, you have to be able to finish this drill repeatedly. So, and I never thought about doing this drill and doing it repeatedly, but I started doing it a lot more frequently, kind of, you know, slowly getting better at the cue ball control with it. Because now that you think about it, it makes sense, because these 4 balls right here are very important, because you have to get really good position on them and a really good angle to get to each ball. You can't just have like a thin cut at the 5 ball, because you got to get down to the 6. And it's harder than it looks, because you got to kind of, you know, let's say if you're like right here, you know, put a little bit of low outside or something is what I do, kind of, and just kind of come up like this and come off the rail and try to stun, a little bit of stun draw, and try to come back here and try to go for the 6 or whatever. That's kind of what I try to do. But there's probably different ways or easier ways to do it, you know. it helps me kind of figure out the optimal ways to move on the table, when it comes to this particular, drill, or how I need to run it out or whatever. It kind of helps you understand how to use rails, how to come off and into angles and stuff like that. But it kind of puts a thing in my mind of like, okay, what if I get to a level where I can repeatedly do this? Then I can work towards that. And it's something that you can work towards. And that's kind of like what I like. It's like, okay, I can just set this up every day. And the moment that I'm able to repeatedly do this, I can say, hey, I am a lot better than what I was yesterday. And it's something that I can say, okay, if this instructor says that this is going to translate to the rest of my game overall and being consistent, that's gonna give me more confidence, to know that, to kind of understand, from a professional's perspective of like what I need to be doing. I know I'm rambling. Sorry, I kind of ramble about stuff. I get kind of tongue-tied. So yeah, he goes through more drills on here. Let's see here. Let's see how many drills. He's got a lot of drills in here, actually. He's got recommendations on how to train and practice. I might go over this again because I only read it one time because sometimes I forget what I read. But, there's some good advice, and there's some things in here that I got that kind of help me. Kind of like a flow chart type thingy or whatever. Of like processes and things of like how you should be practicing, and it's even got advice on warming up and stuff. So, but it kind of like I said again, it puts in a perspective of what you need to do. It narrows your mind, so you're not like unsure if you're doing the right thing. I keep trying to like bring that home because it's hard for me to kind of convey that. I guess you might understand what I'm saying. But it's always hard to know what to do. Yeah, there's like a lot of bank shot tips in here. Oh, mental training. He's got mental training advice. Something I need to work on myself because I've gotten a lot better with it. But I try to take any kind of mental training advice and I try to take it to heart as much as possible because sometimes, I get a lot of self-doubt and stuff when I'm playing, and I'm trying to get over that, that loser mind. I'm trying to get into more of a winning mindset. But trying not to be egotistical at the same time because sometimes it's like, oh, you get good to something, I'm freaking amazing, and you feel like on cloud nine. And then you go play and you're like disappoint yourself when you're like, why am I not playing the same way I did yesterday? That's terrible. And then you like get down on yourself. So it's like you got to find that center. You got to be confident, but not egotistical or overconfident. I guess is the best way. You got to find balance. Like in Star Wars, balance of the Force. Yeah. And this is great too. I guess this is one of the last areas. Okay. And I guess this is the last finale of this video here is he got these little blank tables. So you can come in there in the back. You can draw out what you want. You put some notes. They got little things you can buy that are like this on Amazon, by the way. If you run out of room and you like actually using this, just go on Amazon. They got like, I forgot what they're called, but they're like little templates for writing, putting the balls on the table and kind of putting different examples of shots and drills that you can come up with on your own or things you need to work on specifically. But yeah, I can show you this. He's got a lot of these tables on here. Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of them. It'll be a while till you run out. That's quite nice. I do like that. So, yeah, Pool Confidence by Tanner Pruess book. Anybody, beginner, intermediate, maybe lower advanced, even advanced players I'd recommend, because there's things in here that a lot of advanced players, they don't even think about doing. They're good, but there's a lot of things that they're kind of lacking in their game. You know what I've noticed when it comes to some fundamentals, because you can have bad fundamentals and you can still get really good, but it just takes a lot longer. You know, or if you have some weird quirk about your game, you know, it's just time that you have to invest into using that flaw that you have or in your game, and then being able to play around it. Takes a while. But yeah, thanks for watching what is now my third video. I don't know what people think of this. I ramble. I'm definitely not like these other YouTubers where it's like everything's streamlined and pretty. I just kind of like put stuff out there and I'm like, this is what it is. And, I'm not the best commentator and I'm also not the best speaker for sure. I'm a terrible speaker, terrible presenter. But this is my review. I just wanted everybody to see things that can help them because I like sharing the game and I want to learn more myself, and I just like other people to find good resources out there that can help them. I know the pool try hard guy. I freaking can't remember what's his name. Dupree is his name. He uses this. He swears by it. He has a. If you go to his Facebook channel, he has I think a few videos on this guide or whatever. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. Again, another one of my videos. How long is this one? Oh, it's only 16 minutes. Not like the 32 minutes in my last video. Peace out.